Yikes. I don't want it.
I don't want it either, but I also don't want my rectum to explode and kill me.
Same.
So
Same. Okay.
that'll be a fun blooper.
That's why I like to click record just a few minutes before we get started to catch any funny business.
So I can say things like rectum exploding and
Yes, and
yeah.
people will get a visual, and that's what we really want. Them to have a visual of a rectum exploding. Sweet dreams.
It is spooky season. It is upon us.
It's upon us. Oh, and let me put my phone on silent and not make that amateur move of having my phone have all these notification sounds. Okay. I'm ready to roll, man. I'm ready to roll.
All right. So what are you reading right now?
Okay.
Because we're
Right
new.
now, what is it called? Hang on. I just started this morning. Oh, let me look at my Goodreads because I just forgot the title. It is the and y'all got it for me for my birthday last year. Okay, it is The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodora Goss.
I have that upstairs.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Well, shit, get started. I just started this morning. I'm
Oh,
only, where am I at? I am only 142 pages in.
it's only like a 300-page book. I just started. I'm only halfway through.
It's so good because guess who makes a special appearance? Dun, dun, dun,
Sherlock
dun.
Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes and Watson. So that tickled my fancy. But yeah, I really like it so far. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to be continuing with the series.
Okay.
And according to Goodreads, there are, oh, just 3 books. Oh, it's a
That's not
trilogy.
bad. That's a
Not
nice
bad
little.
at all.
Yeah.
So it's so fun. It's really good. It's really
Good.
good.
All right. I
And
can
what
pull
else
that
am I
out.
reading? Oh, I'm in the middle of cast for
Mm-hmm.
Jess Owens' nonfiction book club.
Same.
I still have to catch up on Ulysses
Oh God,
and
yes.
finish my reread of Breast and Eggs,
I'm not
and
getting
that's all
through
I
that.
have going like right now.
So I'm maybe like almost halfway through my reread of Cast,
Mm.
um, and still cringing, even the second time around.
Same, same.
I mean, that's a
It's tough.
it's a tough book. It's a good book, and it is an important book, but ooh,
Yeah,
is it tough? It's a hard listen. I'm looking forward to the discussion on that one though, because
me
when I
too.
read it, I had like no one to talk to,
Yeah,
and yeah, it's definitely the kind of book you want to talk to somebody about, especially like as you're reading it, you want to be like, I can't believe it.
yeah.
And then I'm reading The Elegance of the Hedgehog, which you made me
Yes,
read, which is that French translated work, and that kid, man,
she's
she's
something
a
else,
trip,
right?
man. She's like in an existential crisis at 12. Like, I don't,
Yes,
this kid is crazy.
yes.
I don't know if I actually like the book or if I'm just like, this kid is insane. And that's the only reason why I'm listening to, like, I've just been listening to it around the house and stuff.
Have
Yeah.
you have you met any other characters yet, or you've just been introduced to the girl?
No, I know her, the concierge, and some of the
Okay,
other people in the building and
okay,
stuff. But like, she just, I don't know.
yeah,
The vet lady just got introduced,
uh huh, uh huh,
and that's kind of where I am. Wherever she comes in is about where I am. So it's, I don't know. We're coming up on the halfway point. It's good.
yeah.
I just
I like the writing
the
a
writing
lot.
is good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think what else am I reading? I have on deck. Um, is it Rachel Hazelhall?
Yes,
Was it She's Gone and then She's Gone and she's that book? I have that. I
yes.
started to read that, but I need to get back to it.
And now she's gone.
And now
That
she's
was
gone.
good.
Yeah, I have
I
to get
liked
back to
it
that one.
because it's a lot of it's in LA. It's a lot of
Hmm.
LA references, even references where I grew up, which is in Silver Lake. So that was fun to
Yeah.
read. You know.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I get jazzed when people mention things, but it's like easy because I live in New York and
Exactly.
I'm always mentioned. So like even in a little life, that
Right.
like I was still annoyed by that one part at the end and near the end where I'm like, it doesn't take that long to get from the Garrison train station to like anywhere in Garrison. Like, I don't understand. Like, where could this have occurred? Like, it throws me off because it just doesn't. Because I used to live in Garrison, and I'm like, no, no. What were they doing? What was this tomfoolery? Like, I got really irrationally angry at that point. I don't know what hour of that drive that was, but I was really angry at that point. There were a lot of feelings. And then I'm slowly making my way through the 7th Cadence, which is the book Emergent Realms sent me.
Right.
I think you would like, but I guess you're cutting down on some of your.
Just a little bit, just until I can like wrap my arms around my new, special love, which is this podcast. You know.
Yes.
So, yeah,
we got a lot going on.
We got a lot going on, but you know what?
Stuff.
I'm having so much fun. I'm loving every minute of it. So,
yeah.
0 complaints from me. So.
It's a good time.
It is.
I love having like a standing date to talk to you, and I love some of the response that we've been getting so far.
Yeah, me too.
It's been like overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah,
I'm sure some negativity will come, but that's life.
Yeah, that's to be expected. But
it's overwhelmingly positive. I'm waiting for like Jesus to just like
start mowing the lawn
by
and just
with the lawnmower.
That'll be some good video content for the folks who like to watch our uncut video recording of the podcast.
Yes, don't forget that exists. It's over on my channel on YouTube. There's a whole playlist. I'll have to go back and backlog it. I think we started at episode 6, actually putting out the uncut. So I'll have to backlog in 1 through 5 at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. It's
there, folks. It's there for you.
All of the nonsense, it's
there for you.
And in its like gritty form.
Exactly.
Not in the nicely cleaned up Naomi takes out as much dog barking as possible.
Hey.
But we're gonna try this setup. Hemi can see me.
Yes.
Hopefully he won't bark. The only problem is this bench.
Well, look, all
it's
things
gonna sound
can't
like
be perfect.
I'm having the nookie, but while also doing the podcast.
That levels up the podcast.
I'm not, but if this makes you think so, have fun.
We're trying our best.
Trying to find a way to not have it just be dog barking for an hour.
All the dog parents out there, I'm sure they understand, and I'm sure they've been through the exact same thing.
Okay, did you see how my morning started?
Yes, I did.
So 4:00 this morning, I am aroused from a deep slumber by the foul smell of dog shit. It honestly, I thought he had shat on my face. And like it was so pungent. And I turn on the light and he is just standing and staring at his bed and is looking at me with just absolute confusion.
Poor thing. He doesn't know what's happening.
He, I believe, was asleep until he sharted his bed, and then he wasn't asleep, and then was absolutely confused by the whole scenario. So that was a great way to wake up. Oh my gosh. Really enjoyed that.
The best part of waking up.
Oh God, the poor baby. The poor baby. He's just getting old.
That's so funny.
It is really funny, but it's also really sad. He's just old. I think it's whatever his nerves, like he's got some sort of nerve conduction issues along his spine. He either has like a tumor or it's demyelination or whatever. But I think like sometimes just the signals get a little bit crossed.
Confused, yeah.
Yeah. And he's looking at me like, are you telling people about this morning?
No, we are not.
Nobody knows that you shat yourself this morning at me.
And we love you, Hemi.
No one at all. No one.
You're our special friend. We love you.
He is our special friend. Anyway, well, poop stories. Everyone loves a good poop.
Well, don't they? Doesn't everyone? And doesn't everyone have at least one?
I waited till like I woke up the second time after everything was taken care of, and I woke Jesus up and told him the story. I was like, picture this. And he's like, oh God.
Picture it, Sicily, 1985.
Yes, Sophie.
can count on us, folks, for all the book recommendations, as
Golden
well
Girls
as dog
references.
poop stories and Golden Girls references.
Yes.
Hands down, one of the best shows ever created.
Those ladies were like actually so raunchy. When you
Weren't
when
they
you
so
when you
raunchy?
when you and I don't remember noticing that cuz like I was a
We
young
were we were too
person,
young.
but like now when I watch it as an adult, I'm like Blanche.
They were raunchy. They were saucy. They were a lot of things.
Love them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Have I ever sent you that Tumblr that's Blanche and it says like eat dirt and die
Yes.
trash? I
Yes.
need it. I need it so bad. And they have it on a few things, including like a clock. And I might.
Oh my God. Listen, if there's any listener out there that has never ever watched The Golden Girls, please trust me when I say you are missing out on perfection.
It is fantastic.
The Golden Girls is just perfection.
Betty White's a queen.
A queen. They're all
Mm-hmm.
queens. I
They are.
just. She's the only one that's left standing, right? That she's the
Mm-hmm.
only one that's living?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Rest
So
in peace, ladies.
yeah. Anyway,
Yeah. So
what are we doing? What are we talking about?
today we are talking about nonfiction November.
Yes.
And I'm kind of excited
I'm
about it.
really excited. We gave each other a limit this time on
We
books we
did.
could recommend.
We did.
And it was really hard because there were some that I mixed up ones I haven't read and ones I have read. So
Mm-hmm.
I could give some recommendations and not just show things I want to read. But it was so hard, especially the ones
Yeah.
I've already read, to be like,
Yeah.
oh, you need to read this one and this one and this one and this one.
Mm-hmm.
So no, there
So
are
we
more.
gave ourselves what, a limit of what, 10 each, so a total of 20
Hmm.
nonfiction books that we are thinking about reading in November.
Or
As I like to
suggesting you
say,
read in
it could all
November.
change. Who knows? But yeah.
But and we have one special bonus book.
Yes, we do.
One
We'll
special
announce that at the end of the show. So
one
just
special bonus book.
buckle up and stay tuned for that. So, do you want to kick us off on what your first book is?
Yes. I'm gonna start with something I've already read that I think everyone should read,
Okay.
and that's The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks.
Yes.
This
I need to read that.
book, this is by Rebecca Skloot, and there's the lawnmower, just making its appearance. Welcome, welcome to the podcast, lawnmower. Um, this follows the life and the family of this lady, Henrietta Lacks, who had her uterine cells, I believe it was, um, removed because she had lots of cancers and things. And then this dog, the the doctors, the hospital kept her cells and continued to use the cell culture, and they're still using it to this day. And the family has never had really any like compensation. They were never informed that their mother's body was basically going to be used, like pieces of her body were going to be used. Like it's highly unethical. But you know,
Yeah.
apparently when it's black bodies, ethics gets a little bit fuzzy, especially
Right.
during the time that this was happening. So this happened in 1951. They took the cells from her. And like I've worked with doctors now that have worked with those cells in labs. They literally are still using them to this day, and they have contributed a lot to science, but also there's a whole story behind where these cells came from. There's a person behind where these cells came from. There's a whole family. So
Wow.
it's an amazing book, and everyone should read it.
I think that I'm going to see if I can get the audiobook and
It's
listen
it,
to that next month for sure.
it might be on Scribd, or I got it from my library. I can't remember because I remember I was listening to it while I was waiting for the book to come in,
Right.
or I listened to it and then I ordered a hard copy. I can't remember because I was like, it's amazing and
Wow.
sad, but it's a powerful book. It's good.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I'm adding that to my list. Okay. I think I will follow you, and I will select a book that I read before,
Hmm.
but I'm going to read it again. And this is written by my great grandfather. This is
Oh
The
yes.
Destruction of Black Civilization. So I am, how old am I? I'm 40 something. How old am I? I'm
I don't know how
45,
old you are.
46. Am I 46? I'm old, folks. I My dad gave me this book when my grandfather was still living, which was either in 91 maybe. So that's how long I've had it. The pages are falling out. It's a real hot mess, but it is my pride and joy. And I tried to read it in high school. It's very difficult. My brain was not ready, so I am going to read this for the second time in my very late adult years. So
It's
that
on
is the.
Audible.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap!
Now I know a lot of people, because this has been required reading in colleges for a long time. I think this was banned at one point.
I probably was knowing
Yeah,
the
because I
way our world
remember
works.
back when I used to have a blog and I was going to talk about this book, my dad was like, "Don't talk about that book." He's like, "Don't talk about that." So yeah, this book has a history of its own. So that is going to be something that I reread for the first time in decades in
Okay,
November.
I'm adding it to
Oh,
my.
and that is the Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams.
I love that his first name was Chancellor. I don't. It just sounds like that's a badass name. By the
He
way,
was he was a
your
badass
grandpa
dude.
had a badass name, Chancellor.
Great grandpa.
Great
This is
grandfather.
my
Sorry,
great grand, and
sorry.
we share the same birthday. So
Aww.
yeah.
All right, so I added it, and it is on Audible
Mm-hmm.
and on Amazon. You can
Mm.
grab that. Um, where am I going? Uh, I've shared this before with you, but I figure if it's nonfiction November, if there's ever a time to read it, it's now, and that's from the
Right.
streets of Shalom, Shaolin, mouthwork from the
Yes.
streets of Shaolin, not Shalimon. I don't know what Shalimon is. Shalimar. It's a
Shalimar.
perfume. So this is like
Or it's a Soul Train band. Hmm.
ooh, not where I was going with that. But this is a story about Wu Tang Clan, like the whole shebang. And this is like their biography. So I guess it has unpublished interviews, and you have lots of just access to members of Wu Tang that maybe you haven't had before. And there's some really awesome photos.
I would like to read that also.
And it was gifted to me from the publishers, so thank
That
you,
was my
Hachette.
question. Who
Yeah,
who published that?
Hachette published it. It came out this year, and when I saw it on like my request list, because they
Mm-hmm.
just send you lists sometimes, I was like, yeah, we will be adding that to the collection.
So let's piggyback on the Wu Tang Clan. I'm going to give you all a nonfiction recommendation, and the book is called "The Baddest Bitch in the Room," a memoir by Sophia Chang. And Sophia Chang was the manager for Wu Tang Clan. And I'm telling
We
y'all,
did
when you
not talk about our picks, by the way.
we didn't talk about our picks.
Yeah, beforehand, the fact that you're seamlessly segueing from one
We
to
did it,
another.
but you just I read it. I read it. When did I read this book? I read this book earlier this year. Nope, I read it last year. I'm telling y'all, when you read this book and you close it, you're gonna be like, "Damn, she is the baddest bitch in the room." Her
All right,
story's incredible.
all right,
So, Wu Tang
adding
all
that.
the way.
Woohoo! Remember when like Emma was like, our friend Emma was like, I don't know who Wu Tang is, and we were like, what?
I mean, we almost passed out.
What
We were
is
like,
this?
"Excuse me, ma'am."
Is this how old we are? That like
Yes.
people don't know? Oh, just the cover of the baddest bitch in the room
Oh,
looks freaking amazing.
she has such a fantastic, exciting, interesting, adventurous life story. I
Add to cart.
devoured this book.
Add to cart. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
buying all
devoured
these
it.
things, but I have my Amazon open, so we're just sticking stuff in there.
Yeah, and that is from Catapult.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that your
Okay.
next? What else? Is that your next one, or that is just
No,
a
I was just
bonus?
piggyback. That just I just
Bonus.
thought of it because yeah,
Another bonus. This
that's
is
a
gonna
bonus for
happen.
you folks. I mean,
Okay.
I could not mention that book if you're talking about Wu Tang. It's
That's true.
you know. All right, so this next book was gifted to me by Alyssa, and it is Feeding the Soul.
Oh, I did send you that.
Feeding the Soul because it's my business. Finding Our Way to Joy, Love, and Freedom by Tabitha Brown.
She could read me the phone book, and I would be
She
like,
could read me anything. I am so thank you again
"You're
for
welcome."
this book. I love this woman. She is just such a light, and I can't wait to read it. You've got the ebook, so we can
I
read
do.
this
We can read it
together.
together.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited to read this book.
Okay, Tabitha Brown. If you, for some reason, ever see, hear, find this little podcast, if you could come on and
Please,
let us interview you,
please,
it would make this woman next to me
please,
on the screen the happiest person that has ever walked on the planet of Earth.
please join us.
She
You are
loves you
always
that
welcome.
much.
I don't care about the day, the time. It doesn't matter.
I will burn down the
You
world.
will burn it down, baby. You say when, and we will be available. We all need that Tabitha Brown energy in our lives.
She's just like, I don't know, there's just something
Something about her,
it
right?
just comes off and you're like, yes,
You want to be her
you need
friend.
that. You do.
You want to be her friend.
You do.
Yeah.
She's wonderful.
Yeah.
Her and her food does always look yummy. You've cooked some of it.
I
haven't.
have. I have. Also, she's the one that turned me on to Just Egg.
I do like just eggs.
Yeah, she's the one that turned me on to that. Mm-hmm.
I use the folded ones in my breakfast sandwich.
Indeed.
Where to next?
Where to?
Where do we go after Wu Tang?
Isn't that the question? Where do we go after Wu
Where do
Tang?
we go after Wu Tang? Let's go to The Warmth of Other Suns, which is the first Isabel Wilkerson. Do you have this on your list?
I didn't know you had. That's on my. No, that's not on this list. It's just on my general list. I didn't know you owned it. I keep looking for it. I'm gonna buy it.
Yes, I own it. I bought this because the only reason why I know who Isabel Wilkerson even is because I had this travel nurse that I worked with in the first wave of the personal pan pizza. And she absolutely loves Isabel Wilkerson. Like, she's gone to author talks with her. She has multiple
Wow.
copies of this. She's had it signed. And her enthusiasm about the author was like, well, shit, I need to, like, check this out, right?
Of course.
And then she's telling me all about this next book that's coming out, Cast, blah, 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 blah. And so slowly, like, these books just kind of, like, came into my little life. And I read Cast first, I think, because I just did. I don't know why. I did. And it was, her writing is just so perfect. It
I
is
agree.
the perfect kind of nonfiction writing where she can insert, especially with Cass. I don't know how this one works with this piece, but with Cass, she beautifully inserts her own. We've talked about this, her own narratives into the greater story or the greater narrative without it seeming like she's shifting all of the focus onto herself. It is just
100%
like
agree.
it's another piece of evidence essentially to back up the history or whatever she's reporting on essentially. And it's so good. She's so good. But this is about the great migration from the south up north. So I'm really excited to read this because obviously there's things like I know about, like I know them as general, like almost like headlines or taglines,
Right.
but not like in an in-depth way. So yeah. Also, she's freaking beautiful.
I know. I know.
She's stunning.
Okay, when I order one of our October book club picks, I'm also going to order that because it's been on my list for a long
Yes,
time.
you need to. Oh, it's also won a Pulitzer. I'm not surprised.
She's incredible.
She really is. I mean, and it's like a tome, and like you can tell how well researched they are, and it's just
Yes.
fantastic. It's read her. I feel like I shouldn't even have to put it on a list because it should be a no-brainer. But in case you're a dumb like me who didn't know she existed until a year ago,
Same.
read it.
Same. I just learned about her a year ago, and they were talking about that book, The Warmth of Other Suns. And I had never heard of her before, and I was like, wow. And people were raving about this book.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
So,
amazing.
yeah, you're
And
not
if it's
alone.
anything like Cast, yes,
Yeah,
Cast
yeah.
is really good.
Also, it's amazing how people are still like buying Cast and reading it. I think that's a great sign that people want to be more educated on how our system is
I know,
formed.
there's no, she pulls no punches. Like
Oh,
there is no, it's
none.
all no air all of the dirty laundry,
Yeah.
and I mean, sir, sir, move your lawnmower. Thank you. So, sir, um, the way that she describes certain things, especially in Cast, it really like is like a punch in the gut, and
That's
keeps
a
you
good way to put it, by
from
the way.
yeah, it keeps you from. I mean, I would find it very difficult to like back talk your way out of it. Do you know how
Mm.
like we do that oftentimes with our history and ugly parts of history where
Mm-hmm.
you kind of try to like be like, oh no, but like no, you can't. Like you can't when
Right.
someone says even the one drop rule was too much for Hitler. You're like, oh, okay.
When she said that, I was like, God damn, America.
there
Wow.
there are just ways that the phrasing where you're like, yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That whole section was like so eye-opening.
Hmm.
And then I'm not even gonna lie, it made me also incredibly sad.
Hmm.
When I read that, I just felt just this overwhelming feeling of sadness after that because it's like, wow, even they thought it was too much, but here we are.
Yeah, you know what I've been
Oh,
thinking about? Have you been seeing? I know I'm good. We're taking a tangent, which we this is what we do. Welcome to the podcast. We take tangents. Have you seen the TikTok going around about that lady? I can assume she's at a school board meeting, and she says something about how she is like 1.4% African, so she's a sister.
uh,
I wish you could. I wish you
what?
could see Naomi's face right now. I mean, you can if you go to the raw and uncut, but it's the appropriate face to be making when you hear that. But then when you read something like Cast and you think about like how different that
Yes.
statement would have been,
Uh huh.
like
Yeah.
that would have been enough for you to get like ostracized, right?
Mm hmm. Yes.
And now you're trying to use it, like you're flipping the script to try to use
Right.
it, like.
I.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, let's just
Let's move on.
let's just drop that there.
Let's move on.
Everybody, have your moment with that little factoid of life,
Okay, and also please just pick
and
up both
read
of her
Cast.
books. Pick up both her books. If you happen to pick up The Warmth of Other Suns and you want to read along with Alyssa and I, just send us a little DM on Instagram at TBR Lowdown and we can read it together and we'll
Yes,
chat about
we
it on the Discord.
can.
Also join our Discord. The link is on our website, tbrlowdown.com. Okay,
Yes,
great.
yes. Oh,
To be more
yes.
specific, tbrlowdown.com/link in bio. That is our page that gives you like quick access links to all of our stuff. Okay, you're welcome.
All right, what do you got? What do you
All
got?
right.
That was a
Next.
short tangent, by the way. I feel like
Oh
you
my
should be
God.
proud of me. I was good. Anyway, keep going.
If there are any new listeners, this is your first time listening to TBR Lowdown, understand how short this tangent was. You don't even know. Listen to other
I
episodes.
was succinct.
Yes, but our tangents are good. Okay, so my next book is it is called Tulia, Rape, Corruption in a Small Texas Town by Nate Blakesley. And I just want to read a
You had
little
me at
bit.
cocaine. I don't know why, but my brain went, ooh.
This is a trip here. Let me just read you just a little bit of the synopsis so we can just understand what the heck we're getting into with this book. Okay. It says, early one morning in the summer of 1999, authorities in the tiny West Texas town of Tulia began a roundup of suspected drug dealers. By the time the sweep was done, over 40 people had been arrested, and one of every five black adults in town was behind bars, all accused of dealing cocaine to the same undercover officer, Tom Coleman. Coleman, the son of a well known Texas Ranger, was named Officer of the Year in Texas. Not until after the trials, in which Coleman's uncorroborated testimony secured sentences as long as 365 years, did it become apparent that Tom Coleman was not the man he claimed to be. By then, 2 dozen people were in prison, and the town of Tulia had become a battlefield in the national debate over the war on drugs.
Holy shit.
Okay?
What was it called again? Tulia?
Tulia, Race, Cocaine, and Corruption in a Small Texas Town by Nate Blakesley. Yeah.
What?
This was a notable book, the New York Times Book Review of the Year.
Why am I not surprised that it's Texas?
Yeah. I don't remember how I stumbled upon this book, but I saw it and then like I went online and ordered it immediately because I never even heard the story.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But also, it shouldn't like. It's so sad that I'm saying this, but like, it shouldn't surprise me.
I mean, true. True.
But it
It's
does.
it does. It does. I guess for me sometimes it's like the audacity of the things people do that really trips me up. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, you really had the audacity to do that.
You really went there, huh?
You really went there.
You really
Yeah,
did
that's
it.
so I still get tripped up over people's audacity of doing certain things.
I think I try really hard to have faith in humanity, and
You
then
do.
like I don't know, depending on the day, it could be hour. Sometimes it's every few
You
days.
try. You try.
I try,
At least once a month.
and then 3 times a week I have faith in humanity. The other 4 I'm not working. Oh god. I hate people. Like if I could
Holding
just
out hope or not. I don't know.
how many times in the last like year do you think I've said to you, I'm about ready to just build a yurt in the woods and take Hemi and go?
So many times. So many times.
Because I'm so there.
Yeah, so many times.
Like I'd be so happy. Just like
You
a
know?
giant yurt, one big room with like books and a bed.
Right.
Notice how I didn't
Done.
say
Gone.
Jesus.
Bye. Peace
I
out.
didn't
See ya.
say Jesus. I said I'll take the dog.
Exactly. Exactly. It's hard to still have a little bit of like hope for humanity.
It really is.
You know?
These last 18 months I've really
Right.
tried a lot of people.
Yes, yes. Okay, did you add Tulia to your list?
I
Did you
did
add it?
add
Okay,
Tulia
good,
to
good.
my list.
Yeah.
And I guess while we're on that kind of theme, I guess I showed you this that came, and
Oh
this
yeah.
just came the other day, and I really want to read it. It says, "Say their names: How Black Lives Came to Matter in America." It's got several contributing authors, and it's just really talking about recent
Oh
events.
wow.
And I mean, I lived it. I mean, there's something lovely about reading about the history of things that have happened in the past, but I would love to see how somebody's talking about the things that I've actually
Witnessed
lived,
and you're
yeah,
like,
lived
yes,
through.
I know what you
So
mean.
I
I know
think
what you
that this
mean.
would be really interesting, and I don't know if it's out yet or it'll probably be out by the time, if it's not already, it'll be out by the
Right.
time the podcast airs. But yeah, so this is brand new.
Yeah.
And
And by the way, in the show notes, we will note if a book is not out yet. We'll let you know when the actual
yeah.
pub date is in the show notes.
But this is from Grand Central, so huge thank you to Grand Central if they're actually watching or listening, for sending this to me, because this, I mean, yeah, like it needs. First of all, I just feel like it's a little short. Don't you feel like
Mm-hmm.
there's more that we
Yeah.
could say? But
Yeah. I love
I
the cover too.
we have to.
Yeah.
I have to read this, and yeah,
Yes, I'll be looking to, your thoughts on that book for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, so that's
Okay,
it.
I don't know where I'm going next here. You know what I was also trying to do? I was trying not to choose a lot of books that are going to either piss me off and or just depress me. I don't know
Yeah.
if I did a good job, but whatever. Okay.
I was trying to not make everything boring because I had some other just like straight history stuff, and I was like, nah,
Yeah.
that's not exciting.
Well, I think maybe this one. I hate when they put price stickers over the title. You
I
know
hate
what?
when
Let
they
me do
put
this one when you're
stickers
talking. So let
in
me just skip.
general.
I'll take that while you're talking about your book. Let me go to another one. Okay. These are three books that I received last year,
Hmm.
probably last year, from Seal Press and Counterpoint. So let me just go with Mediocre, The Dangerous Legacy of White Male America by,
I
ooh,
can't say her name.
Ijeoma. Ooh, I don't want to, I'm
I
sorry.
can't say
I don't
her
know
name
how to pronounce it.
correctly. But she, I've, ooh, Pam wants me to read that book so bad, and I need it. That book is supposed to be really, really good.
Oh, I've heard nothing but good things about this book.
And
Do
I
you have
think
this book?
I don't have any of her books. I
Okay,
believe it's
I
just
will
she.
send you the arc.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. So I'm excited to read this because people were really talking about this book. So that is Mediocre, The Dangerous Legacy of White Male America. And okay, yeah, this came out December 1st, 2020.
Yeah, and
And
it's
she's the
supposed to be
same,
phenomenal.
yes, she's the same author who wrote the book. So you want to talk about race.
Yeah, which recently had some drama with that little
Oh, yeah.
incident. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
let's totally yes buy all of her books
Yeah.
because people are jerks.
Ooh, maybe we
And
can
she's
have Pam on and we could discuss that book.
did I just accidentally buy one of her books? Oh, it's on my Kindle. That's fine. That's okay. I accidentally hit buy now instead of like add to cart.
Uh
So,
oh.
but it's on my Kindle. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I just added the audiobook. So, so you want to talk about race? That's what I added to the
Oh,
to,
okay. Okay.
so the other one. Um, let me just make sure I'm not misgendering somebody. I believe it's the author's a woman, and I would hate to misgender somebody just without checking because yeah, good. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. You're
I'm
straight.
good.
Okay. Good.
I'm good. She is the author of. I'm good. All right. I wonder if it tells me how to pronounce her name.
I'm sure there's some interview somewhere. You know what? The audiobook will tell us.
Ijoma Olu. Here.
Are you listening to it?
Yes, I just.
Who is the author
You're
of
not going to hear it
So You
because.
Want to Talk About Race and has written for publications such as The
Okay.
Guardian,
Thank you for
Stranger
this whole long diatribe on.
Right. We just needed the name. That's
We
fine.
are looking at how to pronounce Ijoma Oluo.
Hijoma Haluo. Is that what he said?
Ijoma Oluo.
Oluo. Okay. Hijoma Holuo. Okay.
Ijoma Oluo.
I hate getting people's names wrong.
I
Ugh.
know. But I also just know that I suck at like most pronunciations, period. So,
Yeah.
do you know I was most impressed by tangent time? It's my fault. All the tangents are my fault. When I was when I was at graduation from college, I remember the lady who read out all of our names, and my only thought while I was hungover and sweating in that gown in sunshine was, "Holy crap! How does she perfectly pronounce every single person's name?" Because you have like it's a graduating class from a university, oh, not university, from a college, but it doesn't matter. There's still hundreds of people. You have hundreds of different names. It's not like everybody was named Williams or Smith or
Right.
Jones. There were some crazy ass freaking names in there, and she
But
was perfect.
how do we know she was perfect?
I don't know. Either she was perfect or she sold that shit real well.
Because when my oldest daughter graduated high school, her first name was Kyra.
Hmm.
Kyra. Does that sound difficult to you?
No.
It doesn't sound difficult to me either, but you know what? They mispronounced her name. But I'm sure everyone else in the audience thought it was the correct way to say her name.
What did they
But
say?
she actually
Kira?
screwed up Kyra.
What did they call her? Kira?
Yeah.
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 It's like, no, it's not Kira.
If I
It's
ever make a
Kyra.
if I ever make a child and I have a daughter, I'm gonna name her Aoife, which
Oh, that's so pretty.
isn't it pretty? Have you ever seen how Aoife is spelled?
No.
Uh, let me see if I can spell it for you. It's
That's so pretty, though.
I need to find it. Hold on. It's like this. It's an Irish name that I used to be able to spell and I can't spell anymore. Oh my god. Hold on. We're gonna make Siri do it.
Can Siri do it?
Let's see.
I don't know. Let's have faith in
Hey
her.
Siri. Find Aoife. She's not doing stuff. She's useless.
I told you, she's not always reliable.
She really isn't. I'm always impressed that Aoife can even like understand me. Aoife. No, that's FIFA. See? It's on FIFA.
But do you know how to spell it off the top of your head?
It's like AOIFA or something like that.
Oh yeah, I never would have. I never would have gotten that.
Okay, here we go. It's AOIFE. That's how you do it.
There's no way I would have gotten that.
Yeah.
There's absolutely
It's
no
like
way.
Gaelic. It's a Gaelic name. And,
It's beautiful.
and I just want to torture my poor child.
Not torture. It's a beautiful name.
It is a beautiful name, right?
It just, I don't know. It kind of I don't know. Sounds like a song. It's beautiful. I love it. Aoife.
Aoife.
That's wonderful.
Anyway. Is it my turn?
Whose turn is it? Is your turn?
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Didn't I just go? I just did
It's
mediocre.
all my fault because I do this. I get us all distracted. Trying to not
Uh-oh.
talk while I drop all the books so that you can cut that out. Anyway. So this is one that I've already read before. And this is Talking to Strangers by Malcolm Gladwell. And the audiobook is also really amazing if you listen to it because there are certain so he examines a couple different scenarios where the way that we talk to each other, how that influences the way we respond to each other, and how we can often have miscommunications because of that. So somebody like a suspect in a crime may be innocent but behaving abnormal to what we believe somebody who's innocent should be behaving like, because
Oh yes.
we all don't follow, not everything follows the same rules kind of thing. But the audiobook uses actual like clips from like interviews with people and things. So instead of just having the text transcripts like in here, there's actual audio. So it starts, how did Fidel Castro fool the CIA for a generation? Why did Neville Chamberlain think he could trust Adolf Hitler? Why are campus sexual assaults on the rise? Do television sitcoms teach us something about the way we relate to one another that isn't true? So it's a really interesting book, and he talks about the deceptions of Bernie Madoff, the trial of Amanda Knox, the suicide of Sylvia Plath, Jerry Sandusky, and the death of Sandra Bland, and examines all of those. And that's how do we actually talk? How do strangers that don't know anything else about anybody about each other, how does the way we talk to each other influence the outcome of those discussions, basically?
Oh, that's really,
it's really
interesting.
Good. It's a really interesting book.
I didn't know it was that good.
I really thought it was amazing. It's not very long. Again, the audiobook is phenomenal because, like, especially with the Sandra Bland, you hear like the police camera, like the body cam discussion. You hear everything like in their actual like intonations, which really changes, I think, your digestion of the topic, you know?
Right.
Because you're not just like reading someone's description of the scenario that they weren't even there for.
That is not what I thought that book was about.
Yeah, it's really freaking good.
And now I'm interested.
Yeah. It's a really good book.
All right. Add that to your list, folks. All right. I'm coming in hot here with Black Fortunes, the story of the first 6 African Americans who escaped slavery and became millionaires by Shamari Wills.
Okay. I like it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I have no knowledge of this. This is all new to me, and I'm very interested to see how the hell they did that.
Yeah. Well, does that include the lady who started like the salon business or whatever? Wasn't
I
she like
have
one of the first?
no idea.
I think she was one of the first, if not black millionaires, definitely female black millionaires.
Oh,
Uh,
funny. It says right here, although Madam C.J. Walker was given the title of America's first female black millionaire,
that's who I'm thinking
she
of.
was not. She was the first, however, to flaunt and openly claim her wealth, a dangerous and revolutionary act. Interesting.
Interesting. See, so I have incorrect information
Yeah,
for
and
a
this is
reason.
not very long either. It's pretty short, but yeah, I'm very interested in that.
Sometimes I'm really confused by like how certain things get to be the length that they are. I'm like, shouldn't you be longer?
Right. Well, I guess with something like that, it's really going to determine like how much information you can actually access.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Um.
All right, what you got? What you got?
Okay. I hit my mic.
I am getting pumped for nonfiction November.
I do. I am too. I hope that I'm trying to keep all my queer books to the end. I have 3 sort of queer books, and they're all
Okay.
going together. So sorry, I was over on Amazon trying to find Black Fortunes. Let me come back to your tab and say hello.
No, go to Abe.
Hello.
Go
So,
to
oh, no,
Abe because I got it
just
for
ha-
like $3 and something cents. So go to Abe.
I just have it open, so I'm just sticking them all in
Okay.
there. So,
Okay.
anyway. So this is Red Roulette, which is a newer nonfiction. I know it's out because I saw it in Barnes and Noble. And again, this was sent to me. This was by Scribner, and this is an insider's story of wealth, power, corruption, and vengeance in today's China. And what gets me really psyched about this is in a former life, I used to work in investor relations, and I worked on the public and the private side. But when I worked on the public side, just before I went to nursing school, the company I worked for, we had they were all US listed companies, but we had China companies and we had US companies. And so there was a lot of, that was like my first real like look into like China as just like a regular person looking at China. I've never been, but like the amount of stories that I heard because that I didn't know about living in China, and like people who just go missing in China, and like the business in China. I was like my first little like toe dipping in, and now then this came out, and I was like, ooh, I want to know what's
very
in here.
interesting.
You know, I need like a little bit more, but yeah.
Also, the title is very what's the word I'm looking for? It's so sharp.
Yeah.
And it's like full of mischief.
Well, China's a very, it's always, it's a little, it's an interesting place. Anyway,
Yeah.
from what I can gather so far.
Yeah.
So the little blurb at the top says a unique and incendiary memoir from an entrepreneur who rose to the highest realms of power and money in China and whose wife was disappeared. Red Roulette reveals the truth of what is happening inside country's wealth-making machine. So
His wife was disappeared?
Mm-hmm.
What in the world? Oh,
So,
you've
yeah.
got to give me the play-by-play on that one.
Yeah, so there's definitely like a lot of that, especially when I was working.
It's so sinister.
There was a lot of this like kind of like weird stuff where like people's political rivals would just go missing, and like
Ooh.
so I don't know. It gave me that. Like learning about that stuff, it reminded me of that. And I was
Yeah.
like, yes. Hemi.
He's
Yes.
into it as well. He also wants to know.
He's like, let me know, Mom.
Yeah,
wanna know.
keep me posted on what's in that book. That sounds really sinister, and
Yeah.
I'm into it. So, okay, looking at my stack here, what am I going to go for next? All right, let's go for one that I received from Counterpoint. Is that the right one? Wait, is this Counterpoint?
Did you get your sticker off?
I did. Well, I got it off enough to read the subtitle. Who is this from? Counterpoint, yes. This is from Counterpoint. This is Lincoln's Lie, a true Civil War caper through fake news, Wall Street, and the White House by
Ooh.
Elizabeth Mitchell.
I have seen this around.
Mm-hmm. And this is another one that I received, I think, at the end of 2020. So I'm kind of like,
I love the way that Lincoln gets used as
Oh man.
like there's so much misrepresentation in
Right.
Abraham
I mean,
Lincoln.
talk about pedestal built on a house of cards.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into this for sure. So that is
Lincoln's life.
Lincoln's Lie: A True Civil War Caper Through Fake News, Wall Street, and the White House by Elizabeth Mitchell. Oh, and she also wrote a book called Liberty's Torch. Never heard of that one, but I'm intrigued by this one.
Interesting. Interesting. The paperback comes out in February,
Oh,
just in case
nice.
anybody cares. Because
Somebody may
clearly
care. Some
I'm
people wait for
over
paperbacks,
there.
right?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So my next one has a little freaking sticker on it too, which I forgot about. Hold on. I got it off really easy. Okay, cool. So this is Smoke Gets in Your Eyes and Other Lessons from the Crematory um,
Oh,
by
you know who likes
Caitlin
that book?
Toddy. Who?
I think Jess likes that book.
Oh, it just sounds really good. Like it feels like the right. It's going to be full of dark humor, and
Yeah.
that's my joy. And plus, on the back from the Oprah magazine, it says demonically funny, and that's enough
Oh,
to
that's
make me.
right for you, honey. That is right
That's
for
it.
you.
That is that is that is all I needed to hear. So,
I love that.
and I know that the author wrote another book that was just questions she's gotten as a oh my god, what do they call you? Mortician.
Hmm.
Um and they're like a lot of them were for kids, and I think it's called like Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs or something like that.
Yes, that
Yeah.
has a lot of fantastic reviews
Yeah, so it's and I think it was just her answering questions, like the weird questions she gets asked
from kids.
from kids, I think all of
Yeah.
them. So,
Also, why when I first heard about that book in that particular, like a kid really asked, like, "Will my cat eat my eyeballs?" I was like, "Wow, kids are something special." What makes you look at a cat and think, "Will you eat my eyeballs?"
what doesn't make you look at a cat and think that? Do you know how okay, so when tangent time. So when I got my first nursing job, I worked in a doctor's office and I didn't work Saturday and Sunday and I lived alone. And I was like, one day I just realized I was like, if I died on a Friday night,
Oh God, here we
how
go.
long would it take them to realize I was dead? And would my dogs eat me before they got there? If they were
Okay.
cats, they 100% would eat me.
Okay, you're right. I take back my question because you're right.
These are the kinds of
Yeah,
thoughts you randomly have. You're a woman
that's so
living
true.
alone. Who's checking on me? I don't live alone now. Don't kill me. But like, I was a woman living alone, two big dogs. They'd get hungry at some point.
They would be, and they're like, you know what,
I'm dead.
Mama looks good.
How
Mama looks
long
good.
would it take? I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
And this is why the very definition of morbidly funny is the book that I'm making.
I have a sneaky suspicion you're going to have a good time reading that book.
I think I'm gonna love it. I've been putting it
And you
off
should
for a
probably
while.
get the other book.
I should. Yes.
You should. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I
I'm
have a
your
lot of
weird friend.
very political reads here. It's all political from here on out, folks. Just
All right, mine's
get
all
ready
queer.
for it. All right, so this is another one that I received from Counterpoint Press last year. This is Dispatches from a Changing America, The National Road by Tom Zollner, I think. And
Zollner. Yeah. I
let me
worked with a
read
guy who
the
had that last
inside
name.
flap for a minute, just so you can understand what this is about. Okay, from the offices of small town newspapers to the adult film sets of California, from the checkout lanes of Midwestern dollar stores to the sacred sites of Mormonism, from our nation's highest peaks to the rising sea waters of pilgrim haunted New England, and to the corrupt municipalities that prey upon residents. Tom Zoner takes to the highways and byways of a vast land in search of the soul of its people.
Interesting.
Very much so. So I'm kind of intrigued to know what is in this book. So that is Dispatches from a Changing America, The National Road by Tom Zollner. I feel like I just said his name differently 4 times. It's fine.
Zollner.
I'm sorry. Okay.
It's okay. That's interesting because I feel like America is like so many different countries in one. I was thinking about it in the shower the other day. I was like, we're basically like the EU,
Mm-hmm.
but we're not our own autonomous countries.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so it's messier. Like,
Oh yes. Hella messy. Yeah.
okay, so let's go to a true crime that I've already read that I'm gonna blast off
Oh
again.
yeah.
So this is Last Call by Elon Green. Oh, I might sneeze. Don't sneeze. Okay. Celadon sent me this arc. This is the arc. I think this came out last year or in March. This came back out way in March. Came out back way. Well, okay, English. Anyway, so this is the story of this murderer, that serial killer that was preying on gay men at gay bars in the city in, was it like the 90s? Yeah, in the 90s, or in the early 90s, and it's a case that, and he was called the Last Call Killer, and he didn't get that much coverage because here's a population of people that we didn't care about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a look into how crimes against particularly gay men, because that's who the killer is targeting, were handled. This whole like rage defense thing,
Yeah.
where it's like there are people to this day that are probably walking around who have murdered somebody and gotten off for like the rage defense, where it's like, oh, he told me he was gay, so then, or like somehow he tricked me, or somehow he did, and I was just so enraged that I, beat him over the head with a brick 47 times because that's normal.
Yeah.
And but there were people that literally got off. Like, it is such an eye-opening look at just how shitty we were, and kind of probably are still, at dealing with anybody who has an alternative lifestyle and things that happen to them.
Whoa.
Um,
That
but
sounds heavy.
that rage defense like blew my mind because I realized, hey, Jesus, look, he's back there, throwing apples.
Hashtag throwing apples.
I have an apple tree. He's not just out there throwing apples for no reason. Um, but I mean, just when I read that whole rage defense thing, I was like, God damn it! Like,
That's
the
sick,
fact
man.
that people could just get off from a
Right.
heinous crime. It's not even like, and then you think about like women who are in jail for like basically protecting themselves. You think about all the people that get harmed, or that like all the ways that, I don't know. I can't even get my thoughts through. I mean, it's the kind of book where you're just like, I can't process all this, and
Wow.
it's so good. Read it, Naomi. Read it.
Yeah, that sounds really heavy, and it's like, God, people are just so sick, you know.
And you
And the
also
fact that
gotta,
they were able to
yeah.
get away with it with that excuse,
Yeah.
you
And you
know.
get this look into um, the differences between the gay scenes in somewhere like New York and in like San Francisco, and how much more clandestine and potentially dangerous New York was compared to somewhere in San Francisco where it was more open and relatively, comparatively, like a
Yeah,
safer, more open, more accepting environment. Um, and this, the amount of how, like, when you push somebody's true nature into the shadows, how you breed dangerousness and the issues that come out of that. Like, we've talked about this, I think, you and I before. Like,
have.
whenever you force somebody to not be themselves, and then they end up, people just participating in either unhealthy or unsafe behaviors, or then
Right.
people feel the need that feel like they can prey on a population because they are hiding in some way, like they feel like somehow that either condones the action or will hide the action,
Yes.
or a
Yes.
blending of the two. Like,
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot in this little book.
Wow.
I'm just gonna
I
say
need
read it.
to I need to really read that. You know what? Maybe I just listen to the audiobook because that is on Scribd.
Yeah,
And
listen to it.
I did save it from the first time that you read it. I went ahead and saved it. So maybe I'll take a
Clearly,
listen.
I very much like the book.
Yes, yes. Okay, let's continue on with my political based nonfiction books because I like it. This is a book that I read. This is a book that I've read, I want to say maybe 12 or 13 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a long time ago. So I would like to read it again because I don't remember much from it. But it's The Shock Doctrine, The Rise of Disaster Capitalism by Naomi Klein. And this book is essentially talking about how when terrible, terrible things happen in the world, because the public is in so much shock from what just happened, that is when a lot of states make really ridiculous and crazy policy changes that no one
Texas.
notices. Hello, that no one notices because they're still in shock from whatever disaster just happened. So I'll read a little bit of the back. It says, in this groundbreaking alternative history of the most dominant ideology of our time, Milton Friedman's, do y'all know him? You should know him. Look him up. Milton Friedman's free market economic revolution, Naomi Klein challenges the popular myth of this movement's peaceful global victory. From Chile in 1973 to Iraq today, Klein shows how Friedman and his followers have repeatedly harnessed terrible shocks and violence to implement their radical policies.
You've
This
talked
book,
about this before with me. I feel like I've heard this come out of your
yeah,
mouth before.
it is a really good book, but I do want to read it again because it's been a very long time. And I don't think this is a book you can just read one time. I do
Mm-hmm.
think you need to revisit it. So
So do they not talk about? Do they talk about 9/11, or do they just talk about the aftermaths of 9/11?
they talk about the aftermaths of
I see
Hurricane
Katrina.
Katrina. They talk about stuff that happened in Chile under Pinochet. I don't remember it talking about 9/11. Maybe it did, but I don't remember it.
Because I think
But
that
I
would be.
remember reading this and like my jaw just dropping. I had that same kind of effect when I read that book, Confessions of an Economic Hitman. That was another jaw dropping book.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so pick it up, folks. The Shock Doctrine, The Rise of Disaster Capitalism by Naomi Klein.
That makes perfect sense. Like as a tactic. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you're thinking about it, like that's. I mean, that's why we have things like shock and awe. Like
Exactly. Exactly.
anyway, I have it on
Mm-hmm.
my. I'll have to go through my cart and actually
Yeah.
like put it
Yeah.
somewhere so I
And
don't
there's an
buy
audiobook too.
$200 worth of books or something. Uh, so I'll go for an oldie that I found at the book barn. Remember, we're in queer land now.
Mm-hmm.
This is all queer. So this is Queer London: The Perils and Pleasures in the Sexual Metropolis from 1918 to 1957. So I thought this
Oh.
would be, since I read The Last Call Killer, since I read The Last Call, and that's very much contemporary to my own life.
Yeah.
I saw this, and I was like, this is going to be a very interesting historical look.
Yes, it is.
And I understand that queer culture in the UK is, or was, sort of, was very different in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
You can see Jesus again, so, but I don't know a lot about it, so I thought this would be a really
Yes, enter it.
I was also reading the word intimate at the same time. Interesting look at a time period that I didn't really know. I don't really know
Yeah.
a lot about. So I'm trying to block
Cool
the.
cover. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, I kind of want to know about Queer London. Yeah, let me know.
I will. The only thing I'm kind of annoyed by is I feel like this is like the Octopus Man, where I think if we were in the UK, I would have um, an audiobook, but because I'm
Oh,
here, I
right,
don't.
right.
Yeah, but it and we had this discussion when we read the last Telegraph Club, last night
Yeah.
at the Telegraph Club.
Yes.
Where there's just kind of these communities that get created, these underground communities, and how you create what you don't have, in the normal world of acceptance, and
Right.
Jesus, I can't have a conversation with him right back there.
Yeah, we
if
did
you're
talk
just
about that.
listening, Jesus keeps popping up behind the windows behind me.
Check out the live. Check out the uncut video, folks.
At least he's blowing the leaves. Anyway,
Yeah.
he doesn't always do that. But so it's interesting to see how different peoples, it doesn't matter if you're queer or whatever you are, different peoples, how they make communities for themselves so that they have a place where they're accepted and can be themselves.
Found families.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
Found families.
it's a theme in general that I really enjoy. So it's nice to see how it applies in real life and not just in fiction.
Absolutely. Is that a newer book or is that a
No, so
backlist book?
this is a backlist book. It was written in 2005.
Oh, okay. That's really backlist.
Really backlist. That feels like it was yesterday.
Does it? I don't know.
The 90s still feel like it was yesterday to me. So I loved the 90s. I just want to go back there.
Well, what are we down to our last two? Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you should have two. I have one.
All right. So, have you ever woken up and just said, you know what, I want to learn more about the Iran-Contra affairs?
Nope.
Because
but I know you have.
So I went on this research on the good Googles, and there were actually a good number of blogs that had a great list of books that talk about the Iran-Contra affairs. And I would say 90% of these lists mentioned two of the same books. So I found them. One is called Landslide, The Unmaking of the President, 1984 through 1988 by Jane Mayer, or maybe it's Meyer, I'm not sure, and Doyle McManus. It's a nice chunky book too. Also, check out the video so you can see this author portrait on the back.
Oh, the 80s.
Yeah. So I will be digging into this. I am just so interested. Oh, this says a special main selection of Book of the Month Club. Well, look at there.
Book of the Month has been around for like eons.
Look at there. So yeah, I'm excited to get into this.
Mm-hmm. Well, you'll have to tell me what you learned.
Published in 1988.
I was 5.
I don't know how old I was, but I was not 5.
Well, you're a little older than me.
I was not 5. I was something.
I remember Reagan being president, and I remember one year his picture was on the wall at school, and then like the next year it wasn't. It was somebody else. It was Bush.
I remember.
That's what I remember.
I remember when they created that DARE program.
Oh God, DARE.
And they sent every school was sent those DARE t-shirts so we could take pictures in them or whatever. So effing weird. So yeah, just say no to drugs, my ass. Okay. Anyway.
T-shirt.
Many of you who frequent Chipotle, you may have noticed there are people out there that are asking you, do you know about the DARE program? That is not new. That came out in the 80s, and that's all I'm going to say.
We had them in school.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it did to help us.
Nothing, because
based on the number of us that all did drugs.
Right. Then we entered into the war on drugs, which is a whole other topic. Because let me just say this. I'm going to piss some people off, and I don't care, but
it's okay. Our last episode's going to piss people off. So. That we have this whole crisis now with, methamphetamines and whatnot. And I want you all to understand that in the 80s, the crack cocaine epidemic in black neighborhoods was really serious. Mm-hmm. Okay. And nobody took it seriously. They just called it the on drugs, and it was kind of like they were criminalizing people who were on drugs. But had they taken that shit seriously then, perhaps we wouldn't have this methamphetamine problem now. Also, now they look at it like it's a human issue. Oh my gosh, we must help. But y'all didn't give a shit about it when it was black people. That's all I'm gonna say. Moving on. No, we really didn't, because one of the reasons why I hate that stupid book that I read less than zero, which is like, is it late 80s? Anyway, like all of these rich white kids are just like in California having like horrible existential crises because it's so hard being like rich and having everything be about you, and just like blowing coke up their nose. And I'm like, when you think about it, like that's the white side of the war on drugs. It's like
Yeah.
it is sexy and whatever, and then there's the
Yeah.
black side of the war on drugs, which is like how many young black men were and continue to be arrested and put into jail for even like the stupidest of things like having marijuana.
Right. Right. Yeah. So, folks, do your research.
Yeah. Or
Do
country
do
or
your research.
states that have or counties that have the 3-strike rule.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
3-strike rule is mm-mm.
Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy. So anyway, just
We can have a whole
just a little-
conversation about the prison industrial complex another
Oh
day.
my God, I got a book over there in that corner that I'll just add it to the blog. But I've got a book about that in my little my nonfiction corner. So anyway,
Yeah.
we're on drugs. Bullshit.
Yeah,
Moving on.
Crack is back.
Your turn.
Thanks. Not about crack. I've already talked about this, but this is the
yeah.
hidden case of Ewan Forbes, which comes out in November. It says it's on sale November 2nd. So it's just in time for Nonfiction November. So this is the unwritten history of the trans experience by Zoe Playdon. There's Jesus. So Ewan Forbes was born in 1912 to a wealthy family in Scotland, assigned female at birth. His true identity was nevertheless clear even in childhood, and so, with the support of his mother, he was taken to European specialists and eventually treated with the early preparations of synthetic testosterone. Raised as a boy at home, but obliged to present himself as a girl in public until his official coming out to the Queen, Ewan grew up, became a doctor, and got married. For decades, he lived a quiet life as a pillar of the local community. But in 1965, Ewan's older brother died unexpectedly, and Ewan became the heir to the family's baronetcy. When his cousin John contested the inheritance, he was forced to defend his male status in Scotland's Supreme Civil Court, where he prevailed.
Wow.
So doesn't that sound like...
That sounds like an incredible story. What a journey. That sounds good.
Because this just sounds amazing.
That sounds... Wow, you're getting ready to go on a roller coaster ride with that one.
Also, talk about having like freaking awesome mom.
I know.
It's like the 20s and you're like, all right, no, you really are a boy. So let's go get you some testosterone.
Right. That had to be unheard of.
But like we have some things we have to like,
right?
Social cues. We're not that progressive yet. It's still early.
Right.
You can be a boy, but wait. Is it?
I can't wait for you to read that one.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's gonna be like twists and turns and like just some crazy stuff.
Yeah, when he has to go to the Supreme Court or whatever, or their version of it or whatever, that's gonna be something. All right. Oh, my last book. I'm kind of sad.
Yes.
Okay. So, continuing with the Iran-Contra affairs. This is a book called A Very Thin Line, The Iran-Contra Affairs by Theodore Draper.
You love
another
this.
chunky.
What is your obsession with the Iran-Contra affair?
Because I need to know, like, that talks about like how we got the weapons and the drugs into the United States from I just need to know, like, how that all really went down. Like I want to know. My brain needs to know, like, what were y'all doing? And I don't know. I'm just so curious about it. I'm so, I guess because like when these things were happening, I was a kid.
Yeah.
So, you heard these things like Iran-Contra affairs and all this stuff, but like, you're a kid. You don't really know what's going on, but I'm grown now. And now it's like, ooh, what is the tea on that? What
did you do to me in your childhood?
So I'm excited. Oh, there's photos in here.
Ooh.
Who was this? The Saudi entrepreneur with his wife, Lamia. Adnan Khashoggi.
Khashoggi. Why do I know who that is?
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah. So, very intrigued
What I
by this book.
remember is like Gorbachev because he had that thing on his head. And like
Right.
when you're like a little kid, that's the stuff that gets seared into your memory.
That's exactly right. That's
Yeah.
exactly
And you're
right.
like, why does that guy have that thing on his head?
Exactly.
Because you're 5 and
Oh, there's good old Oliver North. Yeah, so I don't know which one I'm gonna read first, whether I'm gonna read this one first or Landslide, but um I probably will be reading these throughout the rest of the year.
which one
Cause
was read first? Was written first?
let's see. This one came out. Oh, okay, so Landslide, because Landslide came wait a minute. I'm wrong.
Because I would read them in chronological order. Because there's probably more.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Landslide came out in 1988. And okay, and this is Very Thin Line came out in 1991. So Landslide will be first then.
Yeah, because they may
Yeah.
have more stuff to add on.
Yeah.
Later.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
That's exciting. Jesus came in. That's why I was waving.
Oh.
I wasn't just like having a beauty pageant
Like,
moment.
Hello.
Sometimes I just have a psychotic break and think I'm Miss America or the Queen.
Yes.
If you're gonna have a psychotic break, you should at least think you're the Queen. I mean, that's
Of course.
fun. That's
Hello.
more fun than thinking something awful.
Pretty
like
much.
spiders are crawling all over you.
Yikes.
Anywho, have I been too bad with the tangents? I think I was okay with this one.
I mean, this is the best that we've done with our tangents.
Yeah, I mean, how long have we been talking for? You used to tell me. Where's it tell me?
1 hour and 16 minutes and some seconds.
That's not bad for us. We were pretty.
It's
we were
not.
pretty good.
It's not. Yeah.
We're pretty good. Anyway, well, those are all of our nonfiction reads for November, and we would love. Oh no, we have a bonus book.
Oh,
But wait,
well,
there is one more.
there's more. I almost forgot. This is our special announcement. Take it away. Take it away, Alyssa. Take it away.
For November, Nonfiction November, our book club choice is going to be Empire of Pain, which
Yes.
you have in hard copy. I only have the audio of.
I don't.
I thought you bought the hard copy.
I did not. I'm going to get it before November.
Anywho, it's a discussion of the Sackler family, which is, if not the wealthiest, one of the wealthiest families, and their contribution to the opioid crisis, especially oxycodone. So it's supposed to be an absolutely compelling and like unputdownable read.
Yeah.
From everything that I'm seeing of other people reading it, we would like to beg. This is our official begging of Jess Owens to read it with us.
Yes. And
come discuss it with us.
on the podcast. Yes.
We are officially begging you.
Yes. You know, she has her own nonfiction book club. So
Book Community Reads. They're on Twitter. We can link the tweeter.
we can link that. So yeah. This is our podcast invite, but of course we will speak with her directly. But yeah,
We will beg her directly.
pretty much. When I first saw this book, I was like, "Oh yeah,
You turned me onto
I have
it.
to read this one. I have to."
I didn't know. See, like my gathering of nonfiction books is very passive. It's either I get these things from publishers and they're like, "Would you like to read this?" And I'm like, "No, no, ooh, yes." And then or like somebody just mentions it. Really, like I never
Right.
really get a bug where I'm like, I need to know about this thing, or I see it like in a used bookstore. So you are like more ear to the ground, I think, with nonfiction. We used to read nonfiction predominantly for years.
For years, yeah.
So that we have. So you turned me on to it. Long statement. You turned me on to that book.
Yeah, but when you think about it, it's like, oh, that is going to be a hell of a story to read. I am ready for it. Ready.
I hope. Was that on one of Obama's lists?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know.
Because I'm
gonna
just
try to
thinking
look
about
really
all the
quickly.
things we haven't talked about and how this is why I don't like when we limit ourselves, but we have to limit ourselves. So otherwise this would be like a 2-hour episode.
Well, you know how we do. Okay, here we go.
Because like, if
Yes,
you
it is
haven't-
on there.
Yeah, I thought he had it on one of his lists. But because like if you haven't read Hidden Valley Road,
Oh my gosh. Oh, people. You guys, Hidden Valley Road was, I was shooketh. I could not stop reading that book.
I suggest you read it with a friend so that you can talk to each other while you're reading
Yes.
it and go,
Yes.
what?
We highly recommend this book. We highly recommend it. And then after you read Hidden Valley Road, get on Apple TV and watch Oprah's interviews with that family.
Oh, I haven't done that.
Do it. But read the book first, guys. Read
Yes.
the book first. It will blow your mind. Like, I don't want to give anything away, but the way women were portrayed, the way mothers were portrayed during that time, if like anything was quote unquote wrong with your children, like, oh, what a book.
I think my mother still operates under that modus operandi.
Oh,
Like,
I'm not surprised.
it is very much like you are. I remember how many times I heard as a child, like your behavior is a reflection on me.
Yeah.
So you better behave. I
Yeah.
think that's why like this slow progression into my midlife crisis with like green hair and when I finally start get like my nose pierced and everything.
Exactly.
This is me being old enough to be like, well, nobody gives
Yeah.
a shit anymore, ma.
Exactly.
I had to
Exactly.
wait almost 40 years.
You're so right, though. You're so
Yeah.
right.
Because
I almost want to read that book again. I almost want to read that book again. It
Well.
was mind blowing to me.
We can probably do that.
Yeah. So Hidden Valley Road, folks, give it a read.
Yes.
Give it a read.
November, nonfiction November, our book club choice, you've heard it here first, is Empire of Pain. There will be a bonus book, but we haven't picked that yet.
Yeah.
Main cook is Empire of Pain. So,
And who's that by? That's by Patrick Radden Keefe. Is that right?
I don't know.
Patrick Radden Keefe.
Sure.
I hope that's right, guys. Yeah. So we're looking forward to reading that. This was fun. I haven't been excited about nonfiction in a while because for so many years it was the only thing that I read. And it's been really fun to get back into fiction, and I really haven't had a real desire to like read more than a couple of nonfiction books here and there, but I'm excited.
My favorite thing about nonfiction, I love listening to nonfiction because it feels like a podcast to me. And I will like clean the house or put up my bookshelves or whatever. And then what I end up kicking myself for is that's how I just love devouring them like that. But then I'll end up kicking myself because I'll want to mark up the book. And then I'm like, shit, I can't do both. I can't.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
So,
I can sit and read and listen to it, but then it's also one of my favorite things to do when I'm just doing something is to put on a nonfiction book and like learn something.
I know what you mean. But a couple of mine, I know, like my great-grandfather's book, The Shock Doctrine for sure. Got to sit down and read those because you'll need to mark it up. But some of the other ones, they could be straight listens, but yeah.
I'm going to have to get your grandfather's book because it feels like a crime that I don't have your great-grandfather's book. I keep calling him your grandfather. He's your great-grandfather.
Yeah, my great-grandpa. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let us know in the comments on the blog, tbrlowdown.com, if you plan on reading anything for Nonfiction November. If you do, what are you thinking about checking out?
Yeah.
Let us know.
We would love to add to our lists, our ever-growing lists.
Absolutely. I don't know. I think I think that about does it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we could go on, but
we could, but we're not.
But we should.
I already snuck in like 2 extras. As they were directly related to books that you were showing.
It's okay. It's okay. This is what happens. You should have seen how many times. So I had this crate, right? I was like, I how many times the books went in and out of this? I was like, how about these? No, not this one. No, this one. No. Like, what's the right grouping for this? So
Exactly. So we hope you enjoyed these list of books. So
yes. Well, thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you. And we're going to check on out of here. Okay.
Yeah. All righty.
Bye.
Bye.